so being alone by myself, I wanted to like create something that was speaking to affirming things in my life. And so that was where Affirm Her came from. I wanted other women to, at the time, it was specific to Black women, to empower and encourage and reclaim their power so that they can create the life that they want to live. Because that's literally what I was doing, was recreating my life. It ain't old school. I still be taking my notes down too. I be writing my notepad all the time. I actually just went to podcast summit.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like literally I was in that thing like writing down like, what you say? Writing notes down. And then, you go home, you reflect, you have something that you can fall back on, and some guidance that you can help you go to the next level. That's what it's all about.
For sure.
The harder you grind, the bigger you dream.
The harder you grind,
The bigger you dream.
Hey, the harder you grind,
the bigger you dream.
Whoa, whoa.
The harder you grind,
the bigger you dream.
The harder
you grind, the bigger you dream.
Let's get it, let's go. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said you're up and I'm up. You're now tuned in to the Grind Hard Dream Big Show. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I got a special guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Tiffanie McCall. I am the host of the Free Your Mind podcast and the owner and CEO of Free Your Mind, the brand. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you pulling up. So for the people that don't know about you, like where were you born? Where were you raised?
So I'm originally from Philadelphia. I was born and raised there. I did live a few different places. I lived in Atlanta for a little bit. I lived in Tampa, Florida for a little bit. Then made my way right back to Philly. And that's where I graduated from high school and moved to North Carolina to go to college, High Point University, So that was pretty much my growing up. I had it was a I would say you ever know how you raise your parents?
Yeah.
And I felt like as a child, like I felt grown, right? So I didn't really feel like I had much of a childhood. Like I always was mature for my age, I guess I would say. I was that little kid where they say like stay out of grown folks' business. They had to constantly tell me that. I was always in grown folks' business. I thought I was an adult. I would talk like I was an adult. And it made me feel like, I missed out on being a kid. So once I got a little older, it was like I kind of reverted back to childhood. And now I feel like I'm super childlike now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, I guess like as a child, right? Mm-hmm. Like we always are like curious about different things and things like that. So did you have any hobbies or things that you like doing?
So I was always a performer, right? So I've been performing since, I don't know, probably like 2 or 3 years old. Started at church. At first I was a dancer. So I danced. I did like a lot of liturgical dance in church and just like hip hop, modern ballet. I thought I was going to grow up to be a dancer. But then the hips and the thighs started spreading and I didn't quite look like the other girls, but I started discovering that I could sing. And so I was singing from then on, maybe about, I would say about 13. So I started singing in church, of course, and then talent shows and things like that. I used to do like the national anthem at all the high schools growing up, and I went by the name Sky Blue. That was my stage name at the time.
Okay.
And so my big dream was to be a performer, and I kind of grew into that, and that's it's always been a passion of mine. So that was like my main focus. I tried to cheer for like I did the practices, but once the season started, they had auditions for the musical, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go because the musical is calling." So
more music than cheer. That's
yes,
what's up.
yes.
Okay.
So I was into musical theater all through high school, and then when I went to college, I actually got in on a musical scholarship and was performing in college. That's what I did to stay. I felt like I had to sing for my stay in school, and so we had this this group called Chamber Singers, and we did like all of the presidential events. And when new students would come in, we would perform, and it just kind of continued from there. I've always just been a performer all my life, and so once I got out of college, I was kind of like a big girl technically. So I did what I knew how to do, and that was sing. And I was living in Greensboro, North Carolina at the time, and I started putting on shows. They had this big like talent show. Maybe it was about 20 or 21, probably like 20. Yeah, so they had this like big talent show, and one of the prizes was your own night at this club,
Got
and
you.
so I won that, and I won my first night, and it was amazing. Like I had a full band. It was like a packed event, and then I was like, oh, I can kind of do this. Like people came out to see me, and so I started putting on shows. And I had a musical director at the time, and we put the band together, and we would perform in Greensboro, all of the clubs, particularly one club we were there all the time, maybe like twice a month or once a month, and it just grew into that. I eventually moved to Charlotte and um, started over. Like I moved to a new city. I actually started performing in Charlotte before I moved there.
Okay.
So I made some connections with people in Charlotte and was performing, singing. I ended up like losing a job and having to sing for my food. Like so, singing has always been the thing that sustained me. Performing has always been a thing to sustain me, and I have this natural ability to adapt and to adjust. And I can go into a new place, and eventually I will start to do my thing.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's
So.
fire. I think,
Mhm.
like I said, I think on the creative side, like I love to like read and write. So like
Mhm.
poetry was always a thing for me.
Yeah.
So being in the studio, just like recording that or recording music and
Yeah.
performing, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's so therapeutic
It
in a sense.
is.
So like
It
that's just
is.
like your safe haven in a sense.
Yes.
So as you were doing that and like you're making your transition, right?
Mhm.
So now it's like, okay, fast forward from like childhood to now like adulthood. Now it's
Mhm.
that moment like, oh, I'm an adult. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like life is real now.
Life
Like
is
real.
real.
So
It
like
hit me hard.
what was that moment for you where you like, yeah, I'm an adult now.
Uh,
I ain't a kid no more.
I mean, I feel like I keep having this moment. Like keep forget. I don't know if I felt like an adult. Like there was a point in time where I was just like living like a grown child. Like, like I said, because my childhood, I felt like an adult. Like I was grown. I was way too grown. I was actually living on my own at like 16 or 17,
Okay.
and working two jobs and performing. So I felt like I was always an adult. So once I was probably like in my 20s, I was outside and I was having fun.
Gotcha.
Um, so I wasn't making always the best decisions, but I always was on the stage. I don't think I started feeling like, I don't know, because I still don't feel like an adult.
Okay.
I mean, I do adult things. I have a home. I'm married. So I guess I got two homes, but
Congrats. Congrats.
thanks. But I still don't feel like an adult sometimes. Most times, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we all have those moments where it's like, okay, you know what, I got to pay my first bill, so I
Ugh,
guess I'm an adult. Or, oh my gosh, you know what? Yeah, priorities. Or yeah, you got to be at work in the morning. I got a
yeah,
job now, so I'm an
yeah,
adult.
yeah,
Those type of things. So that's
yeah.
why I always ask. So I guess as you were like transitioning to adulthood,
Mhm.
when we think of like networking and like building, things like that,
Mhm.
like how did that look like for you?
I always led with my talent. So being a performer, you kind of create this persona of like a different personality, and I get known for being on stage or being a singer and a performer, and so I kind of always led with that. I've been blessed to kind of always meet the right people. Even moving to so when I was performing in Charlotte, I had my own band doing my own thing. And then once I got married, it was easier for me to relocate than for my wife to move to North Carolina. So I moved here and started from scratch. And I just kind of decided that I was going to be on stage again once I got to DC or the DMV area. And I I just audition. Like I just always seem to be in the right place, thank God, at the right time. And so I'm not a great networker. Like I'm still learning how to approach people and meet people. I recently started going to conferences and things like that, and it's outside of my comfort zone. Like I think I'm still a little awkward when it comes to meeting new people. So I prefer to lead with my talent. I will say that.
No, that's cool. I feel like everybody has their own gist. I think I didn't really capitalize or really know what networking was until like the tail end of college, because like in high school, of course, you want to talk to your homies and stuff like that as a kid or whatever. But then as you get older, you're like, wait, networking, what is really that? And it's like, oh well, you kind of sort of do it as a child when you're like talking to different classmates or whatever it may be. Now it's just understanding the importance of it, I
Yeah.
guess, and just like, okay, this person does this person
Yeah.
does this.
Yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead and meet people.
Yeah.
And you said something as far as like stepping out of your comfort zone. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very vital and pivotal that, of course, in order to grow, you have to do things that you have never done
Right.
before.
Right.
So, like, I guess you were saying they're saying like different conferences and things like that because you have a brand within yourself. So,
Yeah.
how does that look like for you in your branding and stuff?
Yeah. So, having a brand, I started my first brand, affirmher.co, rest in peace. I started my first brand online.
Okay.
So social media really is like a gateway for me. Like I'm getting comfortable with speaking to people that I don't know, but like I say, I lead with my talent. So I meet people through the content that I create and things like that on social media. And it kind of like is a bridge. That kind of gives me a bridge or an end to kind of get to know people without meeting them in person first.
Okay.
And so when I go to these events, at least I know some people or I know of some people. And that kind of gives me a little reprieve or a little like woosah where I can go and talk to other people. But
Got you.
it's still awkward for me to like network per se. I'm just so used to leading with my talent that this season is that season of stepping outside of my comfort zone and like approaching people or introducing myself. That's the hardest thing. It's
Yeah.
introducing
Yeah,
myself.
like, hey, my name is, and I have
Yes.
this going on. So it's
Yes.
like, if I've
Yes.
never really done it before, then it's like, wait,
Yeah.
this is so weird. Like, why do I have to do this? But
Yeah.
it's like, yo, social media is here, time is moving. So it's just like, we have to adapt and, of
Yeah.
course,
One of my
adjust.
recent conferences that I went to, so I was in the beginning stages of putting the brand together, the idea and the concept, and the brand, the way that the shirts are designed, it says the name of the brand on the front and the back. So Free Your Mind is the name of the brand. And so people were walking up to me like, I like your shirt. That was like a way I can get to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like another bridge
Yeah.
where I'm not,
Conversation starter.
yeah, conversation starter. And that's what I
Icebreaker.
love about the brands. Like it's eye catching and it's like a statement piece, right? So when you read it, it's an affirmation. When I look in the mirror, it's another constant affirmation, and it causes people to like, hey, I like your shirt. Where'd you get that shirt from? Or, oh, you look like I like your whole little outfit or whatever. And so that is where I can say, oh, my name is Tiffanie McCall. This is actually my brand. Like it's another conversation starter. And I try to lean towards those things that kind of give me a little edge on meeting people because I'm just, it makes me uncomfortable to like walk up to people, but I'm working on it.
No, that's cool. I feel like you are your biggest project, so you're just gonna constantly like
Evolve.
canvas, evolve, and things
Yeah.
like that. So no, that's definitely dope. So like, I guess with your brand, what was the call to action for it? Like, what made you feel like, all right, like just the name and everything like that?
So when I first started the first brand, I'm big on affirmations and manifestation and creating a life that you want to live. Has always been a mantra of mine because I have this innate ability to just make things happen for myself and create those opportunities. And I manifest a lot. So I speak the things that I want very often. And everything that I've asked for or wanted or proclaimed has always happened in my life. And so when during the pandemic I moved to Maryland, I moved to Maryland and I was just by myself. So I left everybody and all my friends and everything to move up here. And so I was just kind of down because I'm used to having all of my friends, my people around. And so being alone by myself, I wanted to like create something that was speaking to affirming things in my life. And so that was where Affirm Her came from. I wanted other women to at the time, it was specific to Black women to empower and encourage and reclaim their power so that they can create the life that they want to live. Because that's literally what I was doing, was recreating my life. And it just kind of caught on. And I had some losses with that brand. I didn't know anything about business. I just know I liked the message, and selling T-shirts and things seemed like I could do that. I could just see, during the pandemic, everybody was starting a business.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I saw people, I was like, I could do that. They can do it. I can do it.
Right.
But I kind of got overzealous with my ambition and moved too fast and kind of took some losses, right? But I knew I still wanted to have the message. The message it was always important to me. And I had this idea about creating a podcast like years ago. Like I was talking to my best friends. They were like, back in 2016, we had like, you know how you share notes in your phone, right?
Yeah.
So there was like all these ideas of podcast conversations and things that I wanted to have. And I've always wanted to do that. And so I just decided, like, after I didn't have the brand anymore, didn't want to actually sell clothes anymore at the time, I was like, I still want to get the message out, right? And so podcasting was becoming more prevalent and things like that. And so I just said, I'm going to start a podcast. Like, I'm going to just start focusing on the message and not so much the selling. Because the message is so important about people empowering themselves, changing their mind, shifting their perspective from where they are to where that they can be. Anything is possible, right?
For sure.
And so once I started having the conversation, I just ended up talking to somebody randomly who he now is the producer of our show, and telling him what I wanted to do. And he was like, I believe in that. And so we came over and we started brainstorming about the podcast, and we put it together and put the show on. And I was like, so as time went on and we're doing the show and things like that, I'm like, this needs to be a brand. Like I know the losses and the things that happened that caused me to fail the first time. And I don't call it a failure. I call it failing forward, or a lesson.
Got you.
And so I was like, I know I have the information. I got in community about being an entrepreneur and reading and really focusing on the business aspect of it. And so now I feel like I'm in a place where I can actually be a business owner for real, and still continue my message to that you can create the life that you want to live.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like once like life will always, you'll always learn,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be a learner in the space. Like I feel like you can never get complacent with that, and I realized that as well. Like the reason why I started mine was because I didn't see myself in the news. I didn't see any positivity, so let me highlight positive individuals or people I knew that were doing dope things to let people know, like, yo, if you have a story to tell, you could share it, because you never know who you're gonna inspire.
Absolutely.
So that's what really started that. And I lost track of how many episodes I had. But I just knew it was like purpose, and it was driven, and it was all of these things. So like, being able to do that, and now just seeing it's like, God just telling you to start. Once you start,
just go.
You got to figure it out.
Just do
the
it.
rest is the rest. And I think sometimes we get discouraged, or like we want to know what it's going to look like, because we see social media and we get caught up in like comparison and all these other things, and we're like, okay, well, dang, that looks like that, but we don't know what it took for that person to get
Absolutely,
there,
absolutely. And that's the whole message that our show talks about, is we have transformative conversations. So we highlight people who have stories and journeys from where they were, and we really had the conversation about what was that moment of shift. Like, what was that, just kind of how we had that same conversation, like, what was that moment when you decided, I'm going to do something different, and your perspective changed and you really started going after the thing? Because I believe that like people get stuck where they are. You know what I'm saying? They can't see out of their current situation. And I just want to be a light and show people like, look, I was down a few times. I was down, came up, went back down. Like you don't have to stay where you are. You can always make a change. You can always shift your mindset. Read something that's going to empower you, and get a community with people that can broaden your mindset, and allow you to see things in a different light and push forward towards that.
Nah, for sure. I think that is definitely important. So, like, I guess with community, right? I think that's a big word. A lot of people are like, yo, get in the community or X, Y, and Z. Like, how would you define community for you, and how has that been beneficial for you?
Oh my gosh, it's really changed my life. Like seriously, being in community around people who are like-minded, and I always speak to this, like, get around people who are going where you want to go, or are where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Because you can learn so many lessons. Our minds are limited. Our thoughts are limited to our own perspectives, our own lenses, right? And so when you start being around people who have a different lens, and you start being in community, and have conversations and talk and dialogue and stuff, you start to see things a little bit broader. Your lens becomes a little bit broader because you're not only just seeing through your lens, you're also now exposed to someone else's lens, and it gives you a different perspective, and you can think bigger, and you can dream bigger. And so it's been everything for me. I love the communities that I've been joining, and just being around like-minded people. And I don't want people to get like confused. A community is not just that $9.97 or $97 a month that you pay to be on Zoom. It's like everything. Get in the friend group, like talk amongst your friend group. Go out and try something new, a hobby or something like that. Find people who like to do what you like to do, and be around them, because you never know what you can learn from people.
For sure. I think, community is like, your value, and those people, like you just sat there and said, like-minded individuals. I knew if I wanted to, get into community, I had to go find a mentor. So,
Yes.
like, shout out to Kimberly Marshall, because that was my mentor.
Yeah.
And like I said, now we've elevated to a space now where, like, now I'm a community partner for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, for speaking, Jeffrey Young, aka Backpack Jeff, like, he helped me with speaking. He kind of like was like, yo, okay, you want to speak? This is what you would have to do. You would have to do X, Y, and Z, things like that. And like I said, you do have to also invest into yourself.
Yes.
Is realize that, because like I said, exposure is definitely key, but your brand is your brand. You gotta treat it like your baby. You gotta make sure that you feed it the right things, and making sure that you're doing the right things as well. And I think what community does as well is it holds you accountable.
Oh,
like,
that's good.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
good.
All right, bet. You said you was going hit this goal today.
Yep.
All right, man, we going to the gym.
Yep.
All right, man, how many steps you take today?
Yep.
All right, cool, X, Y, and Z. Because, it's just that accountability. If we're on the same exact frequency, you trying to go from A to B to Z, to C, I'm trying to do the same thing too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And you push each other.
Yeah.
You start saying, like you said about the accountability, you're like, and it pushes you even without the direct push. It's like you see someone that you're in community with doing, you're like, oh, I'm not going to be left behind. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We have the same ideas and dreams or desires. And I see them working. I want to work too. It's
Right.
kind of like even when you go to like workout classes, I prefer group classes. Sometimes I do like to work out by myself, but when I'm in workout classes or group classes like that, and I see her doing 2 more, it makes me do at least 1 or 2 more. You know what I'm saying? Just that, not competition, but just the accountability, and that push from being around other people who are going after it.
Yeah.
That's what my group and my community has done for me, and my community has brought me accountability partners. Like you said, we work and co-work together, brainstorm together, create together. They push me when I doubt myself and I'm questioning myself. They like, you did this and this and this. They remind me of the things that I've done. And I love being in community. I encourage everybody to get in community and mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentorship is something that people don't talk that much about.
Yeah.
But you have to get a mentor, even if it's just a few steps above you.
Yeah.
Someone that can tell you some ideas and some steps that they took to get where they are. It'll help guide you to where you want to be.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I think mentorship is definitely key. And like I said, even in this space, like, podcasts and things like that, I had told myself like, okay, if you want to become a better interviewer or a better anything, you would sit there and study it,
Yes.
constantly study it. So like
Yeah.
for myself, like when I was looking at podcasts and different things and how it was ran and things like that, it's like, okay, what's your format? What's your formula? X, Y, Z. Everybody has their own. But
Yeah.
what is that thing that you love to talk about? And what is the
Yes.
thing that you feel like, all right, is essential to you? So I found myself watching, like Earn Your Leisure. I found
Yeah.
myself watching like Social Proof. I found
Oh.
myself watching like Mr. J Hill, different people. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But I realized just even seeing that from the jump and what those conversations were about. Those were, entrepreneurs. People had to figure it out. People that look like me too. I'm like, okay, cool.
That's the
So
biggest
and
part.
that's the thing. So it's like, yo, they look like you. They've been where you at, X, Y, and Z. And I think it's so important that we literally know that our dreams are literally within arm's reach. I don't think it's
Yes.
that far or too cliche, but when you don't, like I said, when you surround yourself with people that are doing it or going to get it, it's going to inspire you to do it too. And it's
Yeah.
easy to feel discouraged when
Yeah.
you're not around that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's like you said, it's encouraging. I'm actually in one of the communities that I'm in is my 7-figure podcast with David Shands
Okay.
from Social Proof Podcast.
Yeah.
And just that, like he is such an example of like you can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not inobtainable. Like you can go after it. You can go get it. It's people that look like you said, that's been where you are. It just reaffirms like if they can do it, I can do it. And I aspire to be that light to someone else. Like if Tiffany can do it, I can do it. Cause yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like I've learned a lot like from afar. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally
Mm-hmm.
watching this pod and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember he did a workshop last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was out Glen Burnie. And I
Mm-hmm.
pulled up and went to that and it was kind of like different. It was definitely dope. And
Yeah.
what I took away from it was just like so many different things as far as like strategy or
Yeah.
like call to action
Yeah.
and things like that. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, yo, it's a lot of game that you could literally soak up. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm old school with it when I'm going to these places. I'm taking my notebook. I'm writing these notes down.
Hey, we ain't
Like,
old
yeah.
school. I still be taking my notes down too. I be writing my notepad all the
Yeah.
time. I actually just went to podcast summit.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like literally I was in that thing like writing down like, what you say? Writing notes down. And then you go home, you reflect, you have something that you can fall back on and some guidance that you can help you go to the next level. That's what it's all about.
For sure. I think it's definitely important, that mentorship piece too, because like I
Yes.
said, once you understand that, you're like, okay, now I can see myself doing different things. And I feel like he has a successful model in what he's doing, and he's definitely been a pioneer in the space to
Yeah.
help others as
Yeah.
well and motivate others as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
It's so
sure.
good. It's so dope about the reach. Like it's so crazy how you just be yourself, you just do your thing, you go after it, and how many people you can impact, how many lives you can impact, how many stories that you are part of when you go after and you do your thing. I'm pretty sure that there's people whose lives that you have touched by you just going after and going to get it. And it's commendable. Like we always look towards our North Star, but sometimes it's affirming to remember like we are somebody else's example too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And like leading by it as well. And just, like I said, walking into your purpose and not shining
Yes.
away from it.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I guess with all of it, right. Like, the conferences and things like that, like what does self-care look like for you? Because I know like as a creative, sometimes it's like, okay, like I'm always on the go. Oh, I feel like I got to create. And it's like, oh, you can't create until you tap into the creator or
Yeah.
like, what does that self-care look like for you?
I'm a big fan of doing whatever I want, right?
Okay.
I love to do whatever I want. And so for me, self-care is like what feels good to me, right? And so what I'm learning in business in this time around, especially having this brand, is that I have to have a understand the difference between focus and balance, right? So there's a time to be focused and then there's a time for the balance in life. And I'm still trying to navigate that. So self-care looks different even from day to day. Like sometimes self-care is working in my business all day long because I know like that's a part of the journey and I want part of the success that I want. You know what I'm saying? And
Gotcha.
other times it's turning the computer off. Turning the computer off and just laying back, drinking a glass of champagne and watching TV. A lot of the times, it's the podcast is self-care, because these conversations that we have
For sure.
is healing for me.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started the show, I had this format and I wanted to just be so enlightened, da da da. And then I started having guests and I started learning. I'm like, oh, this podcast is less about these people and more about me. Like, I want to learn. I want to get to the information. And so sometimes that's self-care too. It's having these conversations.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah.
it's healing. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you go through those things as well. I think like for me, it's definitely like working out. I love to run. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I did a couple 5Ks and got
Okay.
myself together with that. You know,
Okay.
so I definitely think that it's very therapeutic for myself. I love to write, love to journal. Definitely love to read. I think since the pandemic, I read like over 50 books. So
Wow.
like, you know, definitely like Who Moved My Cheese, Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Magic of Thinking Big. Those are just a couple of books, but like I feel like reading has definitely helped a lot. Especially like You Deserve to Be Rich. That was really a
Yeah.
good
Yeah. Yeah.
book as well, because I feel like you have to feed yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
have at least goals set around those
Mm-hmm.
aspects. To feed yourself to see where you're going.
Yeah. I'm
Because at the
huge
same
on
minute,
personal development. Like, I am the personal development queen. I feel like I always start my day with at least an hour a day of reading, and I like audiobooks, so it helps me like when I go on my morning walk or when I'm getting ready for whatever. I'll at least set aside at least an hour to read a book. Right now, what am I reading? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective
oh yeah, that's
People.
a fire
Yeah.
book. That's a
Yeah.
fire
Yeah.
book.
It's good. It's good. I'm almost done that. But so I try to dedicate time to read every single day, whether it is physically reading or listening to the audiobook. That's like a non-negotiable. I try to focus on empowering my mind and elevating my mindset so that I can speak to people. Like, that's, if my purpose is to empower others, I have to first be empowered.
For sure.
So I really take that serious, personal development. I mean, and listening to podcasts. So studying my craft is becoming
Self care.
a form of self-care.
For
Yeah.
sure. I
Yeah.
like that. So like I guess for you know people that's out there that's trying to like you know create and do the things that we're doing and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like what is one I guess pro and con of social media?
Oh. A pro and con of social media. Oh my goodness. Okay, social media, for one, the pro would definitely be promoting yourself, marketing and promoting yourself. If there's something that you want to do, if there's something that you want to go get, social media is like the number one tool to promote yourself, to put yourself out there, right? Because you have this massive amount of people that are able to see you. So that does require you to be consistent. It requires you to focus on quality. Like, what are the things that are going to attract people to your content, right? And a lot of the times that has to be the quality of the content. It has to be the consistency of the content. And then what you're talking about and what you're doing on social media, you have to make it attractive, because you want people to be invested in what you're doing. So that's definitely a pro, that it is a great marketing tool. One of the cons would be that you can get caught up in other people's success and start to doubt yourself and start to compare yourself and start to feel less than. So I always recommend people like unfollow. If you're following something or if you're seeing something that makes you feel bad about yourself, unfollow that person, unfollow that page. Like, lean into the things that lift you, lean into the things that empower you or that support you or that are in alignment with what you're doing. Lean more into that and less into the things that make you feel bad. I have to do that to myself. Like, once I start, you start seeing the people that's just like social media rich, you know what I'm saying? And it makes you doubt where you are in your journey. I'm like, oh, I might need to chill off looking at that. I might need to filter what I'm following, what I'm allowing myself to be fed so that I can stay on track with what I'm doing. Now, I do suggest following people who you learn from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Follow
Absolutely.
the content that you learn
Oh
from.
yeah, for sure.
Even I have different people, I follow them for different reasons. Like,
Right.
even that are completely different from what I'm doing or different style, I learn. It's learning.
Yeah.
It's like research.
Yeah.
So just be careful and mindful about who you're following, what you're following, why you're following them, and just pay attention to those things. Lean more into the things that's going to empower you in some way or another.
For sure. I think that, with social media, I think that boundaries are very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta understand your boundaries and just like, if life is a television, like what channels are you watching?
What?
Whether they be positive or negative. So like just be mindful of your channels.
That's
Like,
good. If life is
things
a
on the
television.
which channels are you watching?
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that. I'm gonna steal that. Okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
The first time I'm gonna give you credit, but then after that,
I got you.
y'all
Y'all
heard it here. If y'all don't pay attention, then it's mine. Okay, I made that up. I created that.
Yeah, like if life is life is a TV. If it's a channel, what channels are you watching,
Yeah.
positive or negative? Because I
Yeah.
think that's definitely important, and just realizing the people that you follow, because you are what you entertain, not attract.
You
I feel
are
like
what you
not
entertain.
attract.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like
Yes.
it's definitely important to understand that as well. So like, I guess, like, do you have any motivation for like the people out there, like, somebody that wants to like start their dream or trying to unlock their purpose or things like that? Like, what would you sit there and tell that individual?
Oh, you can't be around me if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't go get it. Like, I am going to push you. I'm constantly like, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? And so, what I would tell someone who wants to go after that thing, just do it. Just do it. Just start. What if you don't have any followers, so it doesn't matter. Nobody knows who you are. So just do it. Just keep going. And eventually your tribe will find you. The people that you want to see whatever that are attracted to what you're doing, they're going to find you. Just start. Start ugly, start scared, start broke, start crazy, start funny, start whatever it is that you are, start. Okay? You will develop, you will grow over time. Don't be in a rush to be perfect. Perfection is the killer of motion because we're so focused on trying to be perfect. I'm guilty of it. Like I'm very like try to be perfect, but sometimes you just got to put it out there. Sometimes you just got to go. No one knows who you are anyway. You might as well.
For sure. Nah, that was heavy bars right there. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's, it doesn't, like I said, I always tell people you don't have to be perfect to be amazing.
No.
People are gonna ask you what, where, when, and how. As long as you know your why, you're fine.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
it's 26 letters in the alphabet.
Yeah.
If you have to go through A through Z, it's okay.
Start
You know
over
what I'm
and
saying?
double them letters
Yeah,
up.
it don't
like
matter.
so.
Like literally, and like run your race and just fall in love with every step that you take.
Yeah.
Like don't be afraid to try stuff. Don't be afraid to, like I said, explore. Because like I
Yeah.
said, at the end of the day, like there's people that do, there's people that don't, there's people that will, there's people that won't. And
Yeah.
like I said, you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. Just
Yeah.
take those steps and realize what you do today will impact you tomorrow. And
Yeah.
what you don't do today will delay the tomorrow.
Listen, you miss every shot you don't take.
Mm.
Every single shot you don't take, you miss it 100%. And people are like, "Oh, I only have 1,000 followers. Then nobody watches my stories. I only got 100 views. What if 100 people was beating you up?
Yeah.
Like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
So like, just that's 100 people that saw it. That's way more people than nobody seeing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep going. Keep putting yourself out there. Eventually, what you have, as long as you are invested in you and invested in being the best you, your people, your tribe will find you.
Facts. I agree with that.
Yeah.
This conversation was so therapeutic.
Yeah.
I feel like we both needed this at the same time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've seen the work, I've seen the episodes, and I definitely want to say from one creator to another, keep doing what you're doing. I
Thank
definitely
you.
think that you are impacting lives.
Thank you.
You're having courageous conversations. You are healing a lot of people, and you're allowing people to literally just tap into your just your world,
Yeah.
and you're being unapologetic about it. And I think
Yes.
that's the dope thing about it.
Yeah.
To have platforms where people are, just dope, unapologetic, doing their thing, and just literally wanting to impact and help the next generation.
Yes,
Know what I mean?
that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I receive it. Usually sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not all that. But I do receive it. I'm learning to receive the flowers I'm given.
For sure.
Yeah,
I'm in that
because-
type of season too.
Yeah,
Because it'd be
yeah.
like, yeah, you be doing so much. You pour. But it's
Yeah.
like somebody pouring into you, I receive it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to be cautious and intentional about receiving the goodness because I'm always pouring out, right?
For
I don't
sure.
even think to celebrate myself because I'm just on to the next thing already.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much.
For sure. Well, you already know, make sure that y'all free your mind. Because like I said, at the end of the day, mental health is definitely important. And I feel like, in order to do anything, you got to be good. You got to be rich spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and everything like that. So y'all already know, the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. And we out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Soundstripe.